All right, everybody. This is Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. And today we're going to look at the Scorpio New Moon that is coming up on November the 1st at 9 degrees Scorpio. And it's not that, it's not got very many aspects. So there's not a huge complex kind of energy to talk about. However, I will say that there are some other patterns in the chart that we're going to be looking at. And additionally, I would like to point out that this is the last election, or last election, the last new moon before the US election. So, I know I'm very focused on the US election, but of course it's going to impact everybody in many ways. So we'll look at the new moon on its own. As usual, I will look at the numerology. I will also look at the symbols later. And I will also, I've also pulled a card, but I'm also going to take a quick look at the charts of the two candidates as well for president in the US, probably for the last time. And so if you're not into the politics of that, but I'm sure I'll be looking at some of the challenges and things, but we'll look at the charts because it is the last new moon before the election. And I think that signifies something because by that point, we are 4 days away from the election. Most votes will be in. A lot of people vote by mail. My vote ballot's due this week, and my ballot will be straight in as soon as I've finished at the retreat. I'm recording this on October the 16th. So my vote will have been there for quite some time. So, the die will be cast. So before I'll leave the politics towards the end. And so if you're not interested, you can just dive out at that point. But I really do appreciate anybody who stays to the end and leaves me a thumbs up, leaves me a comment, and even the thumbs down adds to my algorithm. So hey, you 45 haters, it's okay. Well, they're not 45 haters, but you know what I mean. The haters who support 45, you're adding to my algorithm too, so thank you. But like my friend Erica said, if you leave nasty comments, I can be like Glinda the Good Witch on my own YouTube channel and hide all your comments and hide future comments on my channel. Like, because if you do a reasonable comment, that's fine. I don't mind a bit of a discussion, but I'm not going to tolerate nasty comments or attacks or a lot of things like that. So that's my setting my stall out. Yes, I am biased, and some people are going, astrology should not be biased. I'm admitting my personal bias. My reading of the astrology tells me Kamala will win. And that's not my bias. So I will say, though, I did predict Trump would win in 2016. And I didn't shout about it quite so loudly because I didn't want him to win. But that doesn't mean that the astrology isn't what it is. So, all right. So let's pull a card for this lunation. All right. So it's the Knight of Wands. Okay. And you might go, fire. But anyway, let's read what the books have to say for this. My own book, The Complete Guide to Tarot and Astrology, says this is adventure, new experiences, taking risks, courage, and free spirit. And this actually is fire and air signs, which is kind of interesting, but we'll come back to that in a minute. So, but look at it, very positive forward movement. The Knight indicates exactly kind of what I really see in the chart as well. Angeles Arian's wonderful book says this is mastery of vision and vitality. The Knight of Wands is committed to the principle of spiritual growth and evolution. This is the visionary and energetic knight who is unwilling to edit, rehearse, or hold back any part of who he is. He rides the unicorn horse, a symbol of vision and inspiration that has purpose and application. He represents the power of deep internal shifts and perceptions that are being dynamically expressed. This is the vision quester who has attained a significant vision and is mobilizing all energy to actualize it. The Knight of Wands holds the torch, the Ace of Wands, in his hand to burn out any blocks or obstacles that might stand in the way of the vision. Excuse me. The knight has the ability to shed old beliefs and to honor the changing perceptions that he has of the self and others, which is symbolized by the reptilian suit he wears. He's shedding the old skin, which is actually very scorpionic. The knight charges forward, eager to share perceptions and insights which can assist deep changes internally and externally. So, whoa, a new moon, forward movement. Oh, yeah. Then it's at 9 degrees. So before we look at the chart, let me talk about that a little bit. In numerology, 9 is really the wisdom of responsibility, its endings. It's considered to be feminine and introverted as well. And the attributes of number 9 are the positive ones, are the peacemaker, the mediator, the negotiator. You work well with people. The 9 works well with people and likes to help others and gives time to humanitarian causes. The negative aspects of a 9 can be disconnected and lazy and misunderstood. But overall, the 9 represents wisdom, responsibility, and the ultimate goal of 9 is to serve humanity. Okay, and 9 is kind of endings. So I'm always looking at my favorite website, numerology dash the numbers and their meanings.blogspot.com. It's in the description, as always. And she also says that 9 really is about universal faith, love, faith, eternity, the universal spiritual laws. It really is about learning to say no. We're kind of done as well. And it's really the last number before the return to the 1, the new beginning as well. So, but 9 as well is related to all the planets. It's but also the south node of the moon, which is in Libra, which is what we are learning to be more of. Bringing ourself, the Aries new north node, into all our relationships. Okay. And it's the Hermit Tarot card for the 9. Okay, so anyway, that's the number 9. So now let's look at the chart and dive in. And I can't make this too long because I have to get this up before I go off to the OPA retreat where I'm facilitating a peer group. So here you can see we've, as always, set it for Washington, D.C. I just set that normally because I have to set it for somewhere. So you can adjust for the times. It's at 8:47 a.m. So you can use timeanddate.com or World Time Buddy to find the exact time for you. But the aspects will be the same no matter where it is for you. So you can see it's at 9 degrees Scorpio. And Scorpio is really kind of the deepest of water signs. Scorpio lunations often bring floods of emotion or literal water, but also like a deep excavation of something and a deep dive into soul. Now, the main aspect to this new moon is to Saturn in Pisces. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I also want you to pay attention a little bit to some of the other aspects we have going on here. We have Mars opposing Pluto, which is really interesting because Mars and Pluto are the traditional and modern guides for the sign of Scorpio. They are opposing each other. I've done a whole video on that, looking at some of the history of it. And this is at those anaretic threshold of change. We're at the border crossing. We're ready for something new. Degrees, and but they are going to oppose each other 3 times. But on this new moon, they are almost in their exact opposition, because their exact opposition, first one, is November the 3rd. And they are in a square to Juno, which is our sacred partnership asteroid. And she is at that anaretic degree of Libra, which is the same point as the Venus star point that came in on October 2022, the first Libra star point, as we move into a time of Libran energy for over 100 years on the Venus star, which is justice, balance, harmony, more equitable. And it's kind of almost like, because we are moving out of Mars guided Venus star points, it's kind of almost as if to say we're done with this kind of me first, autocratic, overbearing dominator culture. We're just done with it. And this T-square on this new moon is really powerful for that. One other pattern that we have is a water grand trine to Mars in Cancer, Neptune in Pisces, and Mercury in Scorpio. The news is just going to be revealed that, we are washing away and purging the old, and it actually makes a lovely kite configuration to Pluto. It's a really great chart for those on my side of the equation in the US election, I will say. But, so I don't know if I'm going to say, I'm going to leave the chart up. I normally kind of talk, but I am going to just leave the chart up. You can see that by November the 1st, the nodes are still at those eclipse degrees. They were sat at 6 degrees on the eclipses. So things were still under that eclipse energy as well, which is really powerful. And it's just got this energy of rebirth, and we're done. We're finished. We want to leave the past behind. We really want to move forward on this new moon. 9, as I said, endings as well, but then it returns to the 1. This is purging. This is purging something in so many ways. All right. We also have Venus, the divine feminine, coming up to Pallas Athena, and she is, Pallas Athena is the wise justice warrior. To my mind, that's another indication of the big changes that are coming. And of course, they're going to be coming everywhere and within you, and you will have be most affected if this hits a major part of your chart, like it does me, my Venus Neptune midheaven conjunction. So anything around 9 Scorpio. So I actually just one second. I didn't put Hecate in, so I just want to have a look where Hecate and asteroid Lilith are on this, because they have been very active too. There's several others that, and I'm only going to talk about them if they're active. So they are Scorpio New Moon. Oh, well, asteroid Lilith is exactly conjunct Venus on this as well. She's the talk to the hand energy. She is, in fact, I might, well, you'll see it when we come and put the charts with the candidates charts. You'll see where they are. So Hecate is actually over here, still in Libra at 14 Libra, conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and asteroid Lilith is conjunct Venus at 17 degrees Sagittarius. So more indications of the divine feminine coming, rising up. Now, I did mention at the start that the only real aspect from the new moon itself is a trine to Saturn in Pisces. And now Saturn in Pisces stations direct. When does Saturn station direct? Saturn stations direct on November the 15th. I knew it was coming up. So it's not quite in the station zone, but Saturn is at the station degree because Saturn will station direct at exactly 12 degrees 41 minutes. So you can see that Saturn is only 10 solar arc minutes from the station point. Saturn in Pisces has been revealing our limitations, our blocks, but also revealing, along with Nessus, who has been traveling through Pisces, has been revealing abuses of power. Now, I'm sorry, I've got to go briefly to the politics again, but you know, I'm listening to Bob Woodward's book, and if you think I'm overly biased, it's a very detailed, excellent book, and he does critique Biden as well, but some of the revelations about 45, you know, it's just emblematic of all the abuses of power that have come out. And this trine to this is just washing away the old guard, if you like. And I kind of think this is going to reflect out and ripple out around the world. People generally do not want autocracy. And this power grab of these strong men around the world is going to kind of fade out, I think, as we move forward. And of course, Saturn is the guide for Capricorn, and that's where Pluto is at the last degree, purging the patriarchy, purging that dominator culture. We're done with it. We kind of want a kinder, more equitable world, you know. So simply, you know, it's nothing to do with systems and communism and all that crap and woke stuff or whatever you want to criticize. People just want to be nicer to each other. All right. And so, you know, I think this new moon is a really big indicator of endings and new beginnings, purging and building something new as we move forward after November. So, are there other things I could say? Oh, probably lots, but I'm not going to. Except I will point out that Venus and Pallas Athena are opposing Jupiter, and they are in a lovely wedge pattern with Chiron. And that's a lovely one as well, saying this is the vision for the future. This is the big, we're going to revisit lots of laws, ideas, perceptions, views, and move forward to the future and heal a lot of the stuff that we've had going on in the world. Quite powerful to my mind. Okay, so, all right. So I will read the symbols. Then for those of you that are interested, we're going to look briefly quite quickly at the candidates' charts with this new moon because it's so close to the election. So the Sabian symbol is a fellowship supper. And Blaine Bovey says, the ties that bind, he said, are sometimes the shared experiences that involve being on opposing sides of a damaging conflict. He says, imagine war veterans from opposing sides gathering for a fellowship supper. Both sides have suffered bitter losses at the hands of others, yet in all those painful memories, a common bond exists. In fact, such gathering can go a long way to healing wounds, stopping the bleeding, so to speak, like the opposing Taurus symbol, a Red Cross nurse. So in fellowship, one enters a zone free of violence where healing and care may emerge without fear of attack. Now, again, how does this bode so well? Just, everything seems to be coming together. And incidentally, I just read that, like literally October the 16th, I just read that there's a new Maris poll, which is one of the more reliable ones, apparently, has Harris 5 points up. And Omarosa, who was the Black woman who was so pro-Trump, is endorsing Harris. She worked in the Trump administration. So it just keeps piling up. People are just kind of done with it. Now, I want to quickly read Dane Rudyard's version of this symbol, the Sabian symbol. So he said, a fellowship supper reunites old comrades. He says the keynote is the overtones of human relationships based on a community of work or experiences. So you can see it's kind of coming together, like I indicated with the astrology. So I'm actually going to stop the share for a second as I read these. All right, so let me look at these, the Chandra Symbols by John Sandbach. I'm just going to look at the Omega symbol and the Chandra symbol because he does have other symbols too. So we go to Scorpio 10, always. In a field of dandelions, a yellow dragon appears. That's the Omega symbol. He said it's interacting and inspired. And he said the degree angel is Sitar El, which is eliminating negative thoughts and construction of universe worlds. The common and ordinary are so very unusual, but of course, as we learn to see this, even the unusual even becomes usual. This degree is inexplicably strange and extremely unique, but yet carries with it an aura of innocence and blithe normality. There is a wonderful amalgamation of joy and power, which, as we come to understand it, we see as actually pure joy, intensified into utter potency. The Chandra symbol for this degree is on a human nose, a wart turns into a diamond. Dandelions and warts are common and considered by many to be ugly, whereas dragons and diamonds are rare, wondrous, and special. The special alchemy of this degree is turning the mundane into the precious by seeing it as precious. At a higher level, even those things which we consider tragedies, failures, and mishaps have about them something beautiful in the way they are personally tailored as learning experiences. To see them in this way is the special power of this degree, a power which is redemptive and liberating. More hope. I've been telling you guys we're going to be okay. And kind of my other astrologers that I trust have been saying the same as well in this big rising consciousness. Also, my fellow intuitives and psychics that I trust have been saying the same thing. Anyway, so quick look at the chart for the new moon. So the new moon for Donald Trump is in his third house. And and it's aspecting Saturn in his 7th house. I long said that Saturn going through his 7th house was going to reveal his abuses of power to others, because this is all the house of all others, or other people coming out and revealing his abuses of power, which has been happening on a daily basis. This is in the house of information, voice, news, people are speaking out. Other things that are on it, we're still under the eclipse energy, as I said. Hecate is on his Chiron, exactly, and Black Moon Lilith. They're saying the way forward is with the divine feminine. I've looked at Pluto, Mars. I'm not going to look at that, but Uranus is almost back at his midheaven again. It's past the 2nd square to his Mars. He's kind of he's kind of done. Maki, the dwarf planet, which was exactly conjunct the eclipse, the October the 2nd one, is exactly sextile to his Pluto. Done, toast again. He's done. This is also the new moon itself is square to his Pluto, 12th house. All his deepest fears are coming out. Everybody's kind of going, we're kind of done with this, But then, even more importantly, is Venus, Pallas Athena, and asteroid Lilith, all those major goddesses of saying, the divine feminine is the way forward, are on his south node, all piled up. He's yeah. Anyway, I know a lot of you will go, so I'm using Harris's rectified chart for this. It doesn't really make a lot of difference. I know some people didn't agree with this. So this new moon for her is in her 5th house, which is the leader, the ruler. That's a really good start for a joyful new start. Also, all that eclipse energy is still in that 5th house of joy, leadership, and so on. Then we have the Saturn, stationing. I've looked at that before as well. It's been back and forth. It's about to station direct in her house of career, visibility, and so on. She is kind of mastering this and bringing this to the fore. And that's in aspect to the new moon. And then Pallas Athena and Venus. She's just had a Pallas Athena return, actually, just before this. But really, these are on her descendant. Asteroid Lilith, Venus, Pallas Athena, with Jupiter opposing on her ascendant. This is saying it's time for the rise of this divine feminine energy to the future. All aspecting Chiron, of course, by transit, as I said, and here's Chiron over here in the house of politics. She's here to help us heal. It's her role. You don't have to agree with all her policies. Energetically, it's her role. And she's bringing people together already. So, and I know a lot of people on extremes, opposites, don't like it. I used to be on the extreme left, but I know we need to come together now. The astrology tells me. So again, I predict she'll win. I predict she'll win big. I think that Morris poll is probably pretty spot on, 5 points up. I think Florida will turn blue, maybe Arizona, I'm at this point not even sure if there's going to be much clapback, or fighting the results, because it's going to be so hard to challenge, because it's going to be so big. So anyway, I will see you next time, and here we go, or LFG. Let's effing go. Bye for now. And thanks to all supporters.